Picture this. It is 3 a.m. You are deep in REM sleep, dreaming of a tropical vacation. Suddenly, crash! Your favorite ceramic mug meets its doom on the kitchen floor. You wake up, heart pounding, only to see your fluffy roommate staring at you from the counter with absolute zero remorse. Sound familiar? Do you think your cat is just doing this to spite you? Do you think your little furry dictator is broken, or just practicing for a career in demolition? Well, fellow cat servants, grab a cup of coffee, in a plastic cup this time, because today we are decoding the feline mind. We are revealing the 7 unexpected ways your cat is actually screaming. I am lonely. Pay attention to me. Before we begin, drop down into the comments and tell me the name of your little midnight hooligan. Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. For decades, society has painted cats as these aloof, independent ninjas who only tolerate us because we know how to open the cans of wet food. We think of them as solitary desert predators who would rather sleep 18 hours a day in a cardboard box than hang out with us. But that is a massive myth. While they are not pack animals like dogs, cats are highly social creatures. In the wild, they form colonies, groom each other, and gossip about the local mice. When you brought that tiny furball into your home, you became their colony. You are their giant, hairless, slightly clumsy cat mum or cat dad. So when their favourite giant is constantly staring at a glowing rectangle, yes, your phone, or leaving for work for 10 hours a day, that little predator gets bored. And a bored cat quickly transforms into a lonely, frustrated cat. They don't have WhatsApp to text you, so they have to get creative. And trust me, their creativity usually involves ruining your stuff. Way number 1, the gravity tester. Let's talk about the classic knocking things off tables routine. You know exactly what I mean. You are sitting in the living room, reading a book, and out of the corner of your eye, you see it. Your cat slowly approaches a glass of water, looks you dead in the eye, and gently extends one murder mitten. Tap, tap, smash. Now, why do they do this? Are they conducting vital physics experiments? Are they trying to teach us the concept of gravity? Nope. When your cat systematically destroys your home decor, they are actually pressing your buttons on purpose. They have learned a very simple equation. If I knock this expensive vase onto the hardwood floor, my human will immediately jump up, yell my name, and run over to me. Congratulations, you have just rewarded their bad behaviour with your undivided attention. To a lonely cat, negative attention is still attention. They are sitting there thinking, wow, the giant hairless cat was ignoring me for 3 hours, but the second I shoved that plant off the shelf, we played a super fun game of screaming and chasing. If your cat is turning into a furry Godzilla, it is a massive red flag that they are bored out of their skull and desperately craving some interactive playtime with their favourite human. Still on the topic of destruction, let's discuss the tragic fate of your living room sofa. You bought them a gorgeous 3-story scratching post that looks like a modern art masterpiece. It cost you half your paycheck. But where does Mr. Fluffles decide to sharpen his claws? Right on the armrest of your brand new velvet couch. This isn't just about manicures, folks. Scratching is a deeply ingrained instinct for cats. It leaves visual marks and pheromones, basically saying, I live here. This is my turf. But when a cat is feeling isolated or anxious about being alone, they will often target the items in the house that smell the most like you. Your couch, your favourite armchair, even your bed sheets. They are trying to mingle their scent with yours because it makes them feel secure. It's their way of wrapping themselves in a comforting hug when you aren't around. So before you get mad and threaten to turn them into a pair of mittens, kidding of course, realize that this destructive scratching is a desperate plea for connection. They miss your smell, they miss your presence, and they are literally tearing the house apart to feel closer to you. Try playing with them near their actual scratching post to redirect that lonely energy. The final destructive red flag of a lonely kitty is the legendary toilet paper massacre. You come home from a long day at the office, walk into the bathroom, and it looks like a ticker tape parade just took place. There is shredded 2-ply absolutely everywhere, and sitting in the middle of this white, snowy mountain is your cat, looking incredibly proud of their artwork. Why paper? Why cardboard boxes? Well, hunting is practically the only job a cat has, other than sleeping in weird, uncomfortable positions. When you aren't there to wave a feather wand or throw a little sparkly ball for them, their predatory instincts get completely bottlenecked. Ripping up toilet paper or shredding the mail actually mimics the sensation of tearing into prey. Yes, it sounds a little gross, but to your cat, that roll of Charmin is a giant, fluffy bird they just defeated in epic combat. It provides them with an outlet for their pent-up, lonely energy. They are essentially making their own fun because the CEO of entertainment, that's you, was out of the office all day. If you are constantly coming home to a snowy bathroom, your furry friend is begging for more mental stimulation and a lot more quality bonding time before you leave the house. Way number 2, the midnight opera singer. Let's talk about the absolute joy of being woken up at 4 a.m. by a sound that resembles a dying banshee. Your cat is wandering down the hallway, screaming into the void. Meow! Meow-row! You stumble out of bed thinking they are injured, or stuck in a cabinet, or that Timmy fell down the well, but no, they are just sitting in the middle of the carpet, staring at a blank wall. What is going on here? Well, adult cats actually rarely meow at other cats. They communicate with each other through body language, scent, and hissing. The meow is a language they specifically developed to talk to humans. It's basically their version of toddler speech. So when your cat is pacing the house and vocalizing loudly, especially at night when the house is quiet and dark, they are broadcasting a radio signal. Hello? Is anyone out there? I am awake, I am bored, and I am feeling very, very single right now. This behavior is incredibly common in single cat households. They wake up from their 7th nap of the day, realize the house is totally silent, and panic a little bit. That howling is a literal cry for companionship. They are hoping their giant hairless roommate will wake up and host a 4 a.m. party. But the vocalization doesn't just happen at night. Have you ever had your cat follow you from room to room, just yelling at the back of your legs? You go to the kitchen to get a snack. Meow. You go to the laundry room to fold clothes. Meow. You try to use the bathroom in peace. Absolutely not. They are screaming at the door like they are the police and you have a warrant. This is what I like to call the micromanager behavior. Your cat is following you around because you have been gone all day, or perhaps you've just been ignoring them while working on your laptop. They are giving you a very loud, very demanding performance review. They are saying, "Excuse me, human, your quota for chin scratches is severely lacking today. I demand you put down those socks and look at my magnificent, fluffy belly immediately." When a cat feels neglected or lonely, they will become intensely vocal to force you into an interaction. They know you can't ignore the noise forever. Eventually you will look down, talk back to them, or pick them up just to get them to quiet down. And boom. They just manipulated you into giving them attention. They are evil geniuses, really. But they are lonely evil geniuses who just want to be part of your day. Now, not all vocalizations of a lonely cat are loud and obnoxious. Sometimes they are incredibly subtle and kind of pathetic. Have you ever caught your cat sitting in the window, watching a bird or a squirrel, making that weird stuttering ek, ek, ek chirping sound? While this is primarily a sign of frustrated predatory instinct, they want to murder the bird but the glass is in the way, it also highlights a deep boredom in their environment. If your cat spends 8 hours a day staring out the window and chirping, they are watching cat TV, because their actual life inside the apartment is completely devoid of action. It is the feline equivalent of binge-watching reality shows because you have no friends to go out with on a Friday night. A kitty who resorts to obsessively watching the outdoors is looking for a thrill that they aren't getting from you. If they had a playmate, or if their human took the time to engage them in interactive play that mimics hunting, they wouldn't be so fixated on the unreachable pigeons outside. The chirp is a sign of a hunter who has been benched. Bring the hunt inside. Buy a laser pointer or a feather toy and give that lonely little apex predator the thrill of the chase they are desperately asking for. Way number 3. The protest puddle. Oh boy, we are getting into the messy stuff now. There is absolutely nothing worse than stepping on a wet spot on your rug with fresh socks on. Or worse, finding a smelly surprise right in the middle of your bed. Before we get into the psychology of this, a quick disclaimer. If your cat suddenly stops using the litter box, take them to the vet immediately. Urinary tract infections are super common and dangerous. But if the vet gives them a clean bill of health, then we are dealing with a purely behavioral issue. And let me tell you, inappropriate elimination is the ultimate, desperate cry of a lonely, stressed-out cat. When a cat feels severely isolated or suffers from separation anxiety, their stress levels skyrocket. And how do cats soothe themselves when they are stressed? By surrounding themselves with their own scent. It makes them feel safe. So, where do they go to do this? Your bed. Your laundry basket, your favourite shoes. By peeing on the things that smell the most like you, they are trying to mix their scent with yours to create a comforting, protective barrier against the loneliness. It feels like a personal attack, but it is actually a deeply sad attempt to feel close to you when you are gone. Let's go one step further and talk about the strategic landmine. You have scooped the litter box. It is pristine. The sand is beautifully raked like a Zen garden. Yet your furry little angel decides to squat and drop a massive deuce exactly 3 inches outside the box. Why? Are they just bad at geometry? Do they not understand boundaries? Actually, leaving feces in highly visible areas is a known behaviour called middening. In the wild, dominant cats leave their poop uncovered in obvious spots to send a message to other animals. It is a giant, smelly billboard that says, "I am here, and I am stressed." In your house, a lonely cat might use this tactic to ensure you absolutely cannot ignore them. They know you will have to stop whatever you are doing to clean it up. It is a dramatic escalation of their communication strategy. They tried meowing. They tried knocking over your water glass. And you still went back to staring at your phone. So, they brought out the big guns. They are forcing an interaction. Even if you are scolding them while holding a plastic bag and a bottle of bleach, you are still interacting with them. For a cat suffering from profound boredom and loneliness, a negative reaction is vastly superior to being totally invisible to you. Sometimes the litter box issue isn't about going outside the box, but rather an obsession with the box itself. Have you ever heard your cat furiously digging in the litter tray for 10 straight minutes? Scratch, scratch, scratch. They sound like an archaeologist trying to unearth a dinosaur bone. They dig, they spin around, they dig some more, they kick litter all over the floor, but they don't actually pee or poop. This excessive digging behavior can be a bizarre sign of loneliness and a lack of environmental stimulation. When a cat is bored out of their mind, they will fixate on whatever textures and activities are available to them. Since they don't have a garden to dig in or fresh dirt to explore, the litter box becomes their only sandbox. It is essentially a giant sensory bin. They are playing in the toilet because it is the only interesting thing left to do in a house that lacks proper cat trees, scratching posts, or a human willing to play hide and seek. If your kitty is turning their bathroom into a recreational digging zone, it's time to upgrade their environment. They need puzzle toys, they need interactive feeders, and, most importantly, they need you to spend 20 minutes a day exhausting that mental energy so they don't have to resort to litter kicking. Way number 4. The depressed sleeper. Now, we all know that cats are professional nappers. It is an Olympic sport for them. A healthy adult cat can sleep anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. It is totally normal to find them curled up in a sunbeam, looking like a melted croissant. But here is the catch. There is a big difference between healthy napping and depressed lethargy. If your cat used to greet you at the door, play with their toys in the evening and cause a little mischief, but now they literally never leave their bed, you have a problem. Loneliness in cats can quickly spiral into feline depression. When they realize that their attempts to get attention, the meowing, the scratching, the knocking things over, aren't working, they might just give up. They enter a state of learned helplessness. They figure, well, my human is never around, or never plays with me when they are, so what is the point of being awake? This is truly heartbreaking. They will oversleep simply to pass the time because their waking life offers zero joy or stimulation. If your previously active cat has turned into a permanent furry potato who doesn't even react when you open a can of tuna, that is a glaring neon sign that their social and emotional needs are being severely starved. Speaking of opening cans of tuna, let's talk about food. Cats are notoriously picky eaters. One day they love the chicken pate. The next day they look at it like you just served them toxic waste. But sudden changes in appetite can be deeply linked to their emotional state. A lonely, anxious cat might stop eating almost entirely. When you leave for work, they get so stressed by the isolation that their appetite completely shuts down. You might notice that their food bowl is completely full when you get home at 6 p.m, and they only start crunching on their kibble after you have settled onto the couch. This is because cats are vulnerable when they eat. In the wild, eating means letting your guard down. If they feel lonely and insecure without their human protector around, they literally will not feel safe enough to eat. On the flip side, some cats go the other way and become emotional eaters, just like us humans with a tub of ice cream after a bad breakup. A bored cat might constantly beg for food, acting like they haven't eaten in weeks, simply because eating is the only dopamine hit they get all day. If your cat's relationship with the food bowl has suddenly changed, don't just blame the brand of cat food. Look at their social life. Have you ever found your cat chewing on something completely bizarre? Like the sleeve of your wool sweater, a plastic grocery bag, or even the cables to your expensive laptop? This weird and potentially dangerous behavior is called pica. Pica is the urge to eat or chew on non-food items, and while it can sometimes be linked to dietary deficiencies, it is very often a compulsive behavior triggered by extreme boredom, stress, and loneliness. Imagine being locked in a room all day with no TV, no books, and no phone. Eventually, you might start peeling the wallpaper just to have something to do. That is exactly what your cat is doing. Wool sucking in particular is common in cats who are separated from their mothers too early, but it resurfaces in adult cats as a self-soothing mechanism when they feel isolated. Chewing on plastic bags or shoelaces releases endorphins in their brain, providing a temporary relief from the crushing boredom of an empty house. It is a highly dangerous cry for help because ingesting plastic or string can lead to massive vet bills and life-threatening surgeries. If your cat is suddenly treating your wardrobe or your garbage bin like a buffet, they are desperately trying to cope with an understimulated, lonely lifestyle. Way number 5. The ankle biter. Picture this. You are walking down the hallway, minding your own business, when suddenly, bam! A furry ninja leaps out from behind a door, wraps all 4 paws around your calf, sinks their teeth in, and then completely vanishes into the shadows. You are left standing there, bleeding slightly, wondering what you did to anger the ancient feline gods. Is your cat just naturally mean? Are they possessed? No! This is classic redirected aggression stemming from intense loneliness and pent-up predatory drive. Your cat is a hunter. They have an innate biological need to stalk, pounce, catch, and kill multiple times a day. If you do not provide them with an outlet for this energy, like playing with a wand toy until they are panting and tired, that energy doesn't just disappear. It builds up like a pressure cooker. And since there are no mice to hunt in your clean apartment, guess who becomes the prey? You do. Specifically, your moving feet. They aren't trying to hurt you maliciously. They are trying to initiate play. They are saying, "Tag, you're it, now chase me." But because they are frustrated and overstimulated from being alone all day, their play is way too rough and aggressive. Another form of aggression that confuses the heck out of cat parents is the petting-induced bite. You finally sit down on the couch. Your cat jumps up, purring like a rusty engine. They headbutt your hand, begging for pets. You oblige, stroking their soft fur. 1 minute passes, 2 minutes pass. Everything is peaceful. And then, out of nowhere, chomp. They bite your hand, kick you with their back legs, and sprint away. You are left betrayed and confused. "But you asked for pets!" you yell into the void. Here is the secret psychology behind this. When a cat has been lonely all day, they crave your touch desperately. But because they have been understimulated, their nervous system is highly sensitive. The repetitive stroking motion quickly goes from feeling good to feeling overwhelming and irritating. It's like when someone tickles you. It's funny for 3 seconds and then you want to punch them. The cat doesn't know how to politely say, "Okay, that is enough physical contact, thank you." So they resort to a bite to make you stop. It's a tragic cycle. They are lonely. They demand affection. They get overstimulated quickly because they aren't used to a balanced social life. And then they bite the hand that feeds them. Now, what if you have a multi-pet household? You might think, "My cat can't be lonely. They have a dog brother and another cat sister." But loneliness isn't just about being the only animal in the house. It's about not getting enough focused, one-on-one attention from the human. If your cat feels neglected, they might turn into the household bully. You might see them suddenly swatting at the dog as it walks by, or cornering the other cat in the litter box and starting a WWE wrestling match. This isn't just cats being jerks. This is a power play born from insecurity. They are acting out because they feel like they are competing for your limited resources. And by resources, I mean your love, your lap, and your playtime. When they bully the other pets, they are trying to assert dominance to ensure they get first dibs on whatever attention you are handing out. It is the classic middle child syndrome. If you notice one of your cats becoming aggressive towards their furry siblings, try separating them and giving the bully 15 minutes of exclusive, uninterrupted play and cuddle time every single day. You will be amazed at how quickly the tyrant turns back into a sweet angel when their emotional bucket is filled. Way number 6. The Velcro cat. So far, we have talked a lot about cats acting out, breaking things, and biting. But some cats respond to loneliness in the exact opposite way. They become desperately, suffocatingly clingy. You literally cannot take a step without tripping over them. If you sit down, they are instantly in your lap. If you are typing on your computer, they are lying across your keyboard, sending gibberish emails to your boss. If you close the bathroom door, they are shoving their little paws under the crack, meowing as if you have abandoned them forever. While it might seem cute at first, "Oh, he loves me so much," this hyperattachment is actually a sign of severe separation anxiety. Your cat has become so terrified of being alone that they feel the need to physically attach themselves to you whenever you are present to ensure you don't disappear again. They aren't just being affectionate, they are being possessive out of fear. A confident, socially fulfilled cat enjoys your company, but is also perfectly happy snoozing in the other room for a few hours. If your cat acts like your literal shadow and panics when you are out of sight, their little heart is aching with loneliness and anxiety. Let's look at how they act when you finally come home. A well-adjusted cat might stroll over to the door, give you a little brrr sound, rub against your shins once, and then go back to their business. But a deeply lonely cat acts like you are a soldier returning from a 10-year war. You put your key in the lock, and you can already hear them screaming on the other side. The second the door opens, they are climbing up your leg, purring so loud they vibrate, and weaving through your feet so intensely that you almost fall over. They might even act a little frantic, pacing around you and headbutting your hands aggressively. This extreme greeting behavior shows just how much stress they were holding onto while you were gone. The relief of seeing you is so overwhelming that they literally cannot contain themselves. While it feels nice to be loved this much, try to view it from their perspective. The 8 hours you were gone felt like an absolute eternity of solitary confinement to them. If you get the frantic greeting every single day, it is a clear indicator that your cat needs more independent enrichment while you are away. Consider leaving a TV on, putting a bird feeder outside their favourite window, or hiding treats around the house. And then there is the stare. Oh, the infamous feline guilt trip. You are sitting on the couch, watching a movie. You feel a prickle on the back of your neck. You turn around, and there is your cat sitting in the doorway, just staring at you. Not blinking, not meowing, just drilling holes into your soul with their big, glowing eyes. You try to call them over. "Here, kitty kitty." They don't move. They just keep staring. This passive-aggressive behavior is the cat equivalent of your partner saying, "I'm fine," when they are clearly furious. They are intensely lonely. They want your attention, but they are too proud or too sulky to come and ask for it directly. They want you to realize that you have been neglecting them and come to them to apologize. It is a standoff. If you ignore the stare, you are basically confirming their suspicion that you don't care. When your cat hits you with the unblinking judgment, pause your movie, get off the couch, get down on their level, and initiate a bonding session. Give them a chin scratch, talk to them softly, or pull out their favourite string toy. Acknowledge their silent plea for connection, and the creepy staring will magically stop. Way number 7. Over-grooming. This is perhaps the saddest and most medically concerning sign on our list. Cats are incredibly clean animals. They spend up to 50% of their waking hours grooming themselves. It is completely normal. But grooming isn't just about hygiene. It is also a powerful self-soothing mechanism. When a cat licks its fur, it releases endorphins, those happy hormones, in their brain. It calms them down. However, when a cat is suffering from chronic loneliness, isolation, and the stress that comes with it, they can become addicted to that endorphin release. They will start grooming themselves obsessively. They will lick the same spot on their belly or their front legs or their back over and over and over again until the fur actually starts falling out. This condition is known as psychogenic alopecia. You might suddenly notice your beautiful fluffy cat has a completely bald, pink patch on their tummy or little scabs on their skin. They are literally licking themselves bald to cope with the mental anguish of being alone. It is the feline equivalent of a human biting their fingernails down to the quick because of severe anxiety. If you notice your cat developing bald patches or obsessively chewing on their own fur, you must act fast. First, always rule out fleas or allergies with your vet. But if it is diagnosed as a behavioral issue, you have to face the hard truth. Your cat is severely depressed and lonely. So how do we fix all of this? How do we cure the loneliness of the Velcro cats, the midnight singers, and the ankle biters? The answer is intentional, quality time. Throwing a toy mouse on the floor isn't enough. You need to schedule 15 to 20 minutes of interactive play twice a day. Make them jump, run, and hunt. Build their confidence. Also consider catifying your home. Add high shelves so they can climb and survey their kingdom. Get puzzle feeders to make their brain work for their food while you are at the office. And honestly, if you work long hours and have a single cat, the best cure for a lonely cat is another cat. Getting them a feline companion with a similar energy level can completely transform their life. They will have a buddy to wrestle with, sleep with, and plot your demise with while you are away. Remember, they don't want to be bad. They just want to be loved. And there you have it, fellow cat slaves. The 7 secret, strange, and sometimes destructive ways your cat is trying to tell you that they are feeling lonely and need their favourite human. Now you know exactly what is going on inside that beautiful, fluffy head of theirs. Despite the shredded toilet paper, the 3 a.m. screaming concerts, and the occasional bite to the ankle, we know that these quirky little predators hold our whole hearts. They act tough, but at the end of the day, they depend on us not just for food, but for love, friendship, and a sense of family. If this video helped you understand your kitty a little better, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with another cat parent who needs to decode their cat's weird behaviour. Now it's your turn. Which of these 7 signs does your cat do the most? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.